welcome to another House of Wisdom lightest and best video where we look at the lightest and best from a variety of manufacturers. And today we're going to look at the lightest 2 7/8 to 3-inch blade range for Spyderco. And it is the Calypso Jr. This is a knife that was made by Spyderco from 1997 to 2007, and in their recent catalog they announced that they're going to be bringing back the Calypso Jr. in a sprint run. The handle will be the same and the model will be the same, but they're upgrading the steel from this VG10 to a super blue tool steel. The specifications of the knife are the blade length is 2.875 inches, the handle length is 3.75 inches, giving a total knife length of 6.75 inches. The weight of the knife is a very light 1.9 ounces. Remember, the Delica, which is very similar to this knife in blade length, is 2.5 ounces. And so we're going to do some similarity comparisons here. The Calypso Jr. and the Delica share a 2 7/8 inch blade, but the handle on the Delica is a little longer. The Native is got a little larger blade. It's a 3-inch blade, and the handles are similar size, so the Native is a little longer. And the last, another 3-inch Spyderco blade, is the Para 3, which has a 3-inch blade, a 1/8 of an inch longer, and the handle is a little longer as well. The blade on this knife is made of VG10. As I've mentioned, this year with the sprint run coming out, they're improving the blade steel to super blue tool steel. The blade is in a drop point configuration with a full flat grind. It has a thumb ramp for purchase, but there isn't any jimping on the thumb ramp. The method of deployment of the knife is by spider hole. It deploys smoothly, and however, it doesn't flick very well. The construction of the knife, it has a back lock, but it's more forward than the Delica, which is more of a mid-lock. So whenever I use the first interphalangeal joint, I can easily reach it and close it one-handed with one motion. The pivot on this knife, it doesn't have liners. It is a pinned pivot, and there aren't any Torx bit screws to disassemble it. The pivot is pinned and the body is pinned. It only has one body pin, so I assume this part of the knife is glued together, something like that, but you cannot take this knife apart, so that's one of the downsides. For example, on this one, the blade is a little off center to the clip side. I cannot adjust it with a pivot because there is no pivot disassembly on this. And if you want to take it apart and clean it or lubricate it, you can't do that either. Or if you wanted to adjust the action and make it a little looser so that you could flick it, you can't do that. When a pen knife is purchased, you have what you have and you can't change it at all. Well, let's talk about the pocket clip. The pocket clip is a surface-mounted steel spring clip, and the clip on the Delica, for example, it has this smooth area where it has a maker's mark as opposed to the textured area where you get grip. On the Delica, the clip's traction point falls squarely onto that smooth maker's mark. On the Calypso Jr., however, it's about half off of the maker's mark. I don't know if you can appreciate that. So that part of the traction falls onto the grippy area, and that might damage your pants. So there's a little bit of flaw in the design there. The ergonomics of the knife are very good. It has the forward finger choil like the Dragonfly and like the Native with the forward finger choil. So you can hold it back in your grip or you can hold it forward in your grip for closer work. And when you're holding it forward in the grip with a thumb wrench, you get that pincer function, and it just feels like that's perfect for where your hand should fall. The action of the knife, as I've mentioned, is poor. It's steel rubbing on FRN, and I don't know if it's that because the Dragonfly has steel on FRN too, unlike the Delica that has steel liners. But it may also be that because it's a pen knife, This knife, I'm not the first owner, but it's either 10 to 20 years old and has never been cleaned. And imagine what the action of this knife would be like if it went 100 years and never been cleaned. So I think disassembling a knife and being able to clean it is a positive thing. The signage on the knife, on the blade, has Spyderco and the steel designation VG10. And then on the handle, it has the maker's mark. It says Clip It Calypso Jr. And then on the clip side, it has the country of origin, which is Japan, and then the same Clip It Calypso Jr. on the handle scale, with being stamped out of the FRN. I wanted to take some time to compare the Delica and the Calypso Jr. The Delica weighs 2.5 ounces. The Calypso Jr. only weighs 1.9 ounces. Advantage Calypso Jr. The steel on the Delica, this comes in the ZDP 189. It comes in a variety of steels. I don't want to mention them all because you guys would correct me in the comments section. I know how you are. The Calypso Jr., this is VG10, and the Calypso Jr. will be coming out in the super blue steel, so there's less of a variety of steels for the Calypso Jr. The blade on the Delica, they're very similar, and I'll just let you look at them. They both are drop point blades, sort of a leaf shape with the spider hole. The hole in the Delica is a little larger than the hole in the Calypso Jr., but they're both very functional. The thing that I noticed that matters to me is that there is jimping on the thumb ramp of the Delica, and the thumb ramp of the Calypso Jr. is smooth. Advantage Delica. One of the other things about the blades is you'll notice that there is a sharpening ricasso at the heel of the blade in the Calypso Jr., whereas the Spyderco Delica, the blade heel comes right up to the kick and doesn't have a sharpening ricasso. Advantage Calypso Jr. The handle is a little different too. They both have this bidirectional grip. The one on the Delica has these squares with a hole in the center. It goes one way that way and then goes another way that way. This is called the volcano grip. And this has more of a fish scale looking grip. The fish scales go one way here and then they transition at the maker's mark and then go another way there. They're both functional. The Spyderco Delica is a little grippier than the Calypso Jr. Advantage Spyderco Delica. The handles are different also. The handle of the Delica has skeletonized steel liners to give it some rigidity. The Calypso Jr. does not have liners, and however, whenever I press this as hard as I can, there's very little flex. I don't think that it really needs it. So this is a tie. This is lighter because it doesn't have steel liners. It comes in at 1.9 ounces. This is heavier because it has the stainless steel liners at 2.5 ounces. However, this knife has more rigidity and is a more solid knife. I'm going to call that a tie because I really like the light of the Calypso Jr., but I like the structural stability of the Delica. The spine of the Delica has some jimping for a little bit of traction before you come up to the jimping on the thumb ramp. The back spine of the handle of the Calypso Jr. is smooth. Advantage Spyderco Delica. The blade to handle ratio is a little different also. The blades are similar in size, however the handle of the Delica is longer. This does something, first of all, it allows it to manage a better clip. The clip on the Delica, not only does it fall onto the smooth maker's mark well, it has an integrated lanyard hole in it, and that's an advantage over the Calypso Jr. also. But really, the Calypso Jr. has a better blade-to-handle ratio, so it's a more compact package. Advantage Calypso Jr. The back locks are different. On the Delica, the back lock is more posterior, and the Calypso Jr., it's more forward. And whenever you close the Delica, the way I close it, I put the inner phalangeal joint, the proximal inner phalangeal joint of my third finger there, and then I have to knock the blade down a little bit. And then I rotate my hands and then get my hands out of the way and close it. So it's a one-handed but a two-motion closure. With the Calypso Jr., I can get a lot more of my finger on there, and I can have a one-handed closure with the Calypso Jr. The pivot on the Delica has a Torx bit disassembly possibility, as do the body screws. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4 body screws to hold this securely tight. On the Calypso Jr., it is pinned. There's no possibility to open it, to clean it, to lubricate it, to adjust the centering if the centering's off, to adjust the action to make it a smoother action or a flicking action if you want to. So you have a pinned knife, and what you get is what you get. Definite advantage, Spyderco Delica. Now that I've talked about the Calypso Jr. and talked about its weaknesses and its strengths, I'd just like to make some comments. Really, the Calypso Jr. is just a sprint run. It will be here today and gone tomorrow. The Delica is going to stay. It's one of their flagship designs. And if I had a wish, I would hope that the Delica 5, this is the Delica 4, but the next version of the Delica 5, would include all the goodness of the Calypso. I wish they would put the forward finger choil onto the Delica, because the Dragonfly has it, the Native has it. They could round this off a little bit, move this back, and make this forward so that if you wanted to get a forward grip on the Delica, you could, just like the Calypso Jr. Also, the Calypso Jr. has this sharpening ricasso, and I wish that they would integrate that into the next version of the Delica. And if they could move the backlock forward a little bit so that you can smoothly, with one motion, do a one-hand closing, I would really appreciate that also. Well, those are my thoughts on the Calypso Jr. in comparison with the Delica. Hope you learned something from it. It's coming out this year, and if you like it, go ahead and buy it. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't. Leave a comment in the comments section about what you think about the Calypso Jr., and we'll see you on the next House of Wisdom, Lightest and Best video.